Season finale, week 18 Giants post game recap. In Giant like fashion, we always find a way to lose even when we win. It's kind of par for the course at this point. And it's wild. My man Mari hit me up. Shout out Mari. That nigga was like, "Yo, we get the fifth pick." This is yesterday. We get the fifth pick in the draft if, or fourth pick or third pick if XYZ team lose. I said, watch we fuck around and win this game. It's just giant shit, man. Like I pretty much knew we were going to win this game. Now I didn't see it going the way it did with us getting such a big lead on the Eagles, but the Eagles been in like a little free fall as of late. So I saw this shit coming a mile away. This is only like our third or fourth time beating them in the last like fucking 8 years or something like that. So it was so fitting that we won this game. I knew it. Yeah, so I'm not even really gonna recap the game. The game was what it was. We made the plays. The Eagles didn't. It was just one of them kind of games. Uh, Shout out to Sterling Shepard. That may have been his last game as a Giant. I think it pretty much is his last game because all the congratulations he was getting on the sideline and all that shit. But shout out to Shep, man. Shep is one of my favorite players, Giants players of all time, man. Even though he wasn't as productive as he probably should have been as a Giant, he still makes the cut for me as one of probably my top, I'll say about 20 Giants of all time. He's an OU guy. Everybody knows I'm an Oklahoma fan, big Oklahoma Sooners fan. So him going straight from OU to the Giants, playing his whole career with the Giants, whole 8 years. Shout out to Shep, man. He's one of them guys, man. I always, I keep near and dear. You know what I mean? So shout out to Shep. It could have potentially been Saquon Barkley's last game as a Giant as well. Who knows what's gonna happen this summer. If we're gonna tag him again, if we're gonna let him test out free agency and see if he can get a contract somewhere else for the money that he wants to get paid. I don't have a problem with it either way. I just don't want to overpay for Saquon Barkley. I think I've spoke on him plenty of times. I don't think he's as good as the outside of the fan base people think he is, but we as Giants fans, we kind of we don't really care either way as long as we don't break the bank on him. You know what I mean? Like we like Saquon Barkley, but it's not the end all be all if he's not on the roster. It's just it really doesn't matter. We haven't won too many games with him, so I mean, what's the penalty not having him? Rough season. Just what do we win? 6 games, 6, 7 games. I don't even know what the fuck our record is. 6-11. Uh, Another disappointing season to say the least. It's probably a even more disappointing season than last year was a successful season, but all the seasons prior to that they were disappointing. But this one kind of tops those because we were expected to do things coming off a playoff win last year, and Daniel Jones getting the big contract. We were expected to compete, and we did everything but that this year until week 18 when we really needed to lose but won. But yeah, typical Giants. What is there to say? What else is there to say? I think we're locked in. Well, we got to see, I guess, what the Chargers and Kansas City outcome is. It probably finished already. I don't have my phone on me. I don't know what's going on, but we'll have either the fifth or sixth pick in the draft. I don't think it really matters. I think if Joe Shane really, really wants a quarterback in his draft, I think he'll trade up a couple spots. I think he'll trade if he wants somebody that bad. If he has somebody on his radar, I don't think he'll hesitate to trade up. So I'm not really tripping. We got the extra draft pick to do it. We got the draft capital. I personally would like to see us draft a quarterback in the offseason. Just to have that stability. I think everybody knows I like Daniel Jones. I really do. I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a good player if he's protected. But for one, we're not going to have that protection, and for two, even if regardless how I feel about Daniel Jones, he is now to me classified as an injury prone player. He's had bad injuries. He's had the neck injuries, which is very serious. He's had now a torn ACL. You cannot put your franchise in the hands of a guy who continuously gets injured. He's a mobile quarterback. He takes a lot of hits, especially with us not having a line. It's just not a recipe for success. So I do think it's time to move on from Daniel Jones. As much as I think he's a very good player, I think Daniel Jones will probably resurface somewhere. Remember, I said this. He's probably going to resurface somewhere after next year because he will be on the Giants roster next year, regardless. We can't get out of that contract until after the 2024 season. So after the season is over and we, if we let's say if we draft a quarterback this season, we let Daniel Jones play out next year. After that season, I think he'll go to a team and be a very good player. Now he has to be protected. But I do think he has the arm talent and the intangibles to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. I really do believe that. I do believe that. I know a lot of people are probably down on him, but he didn't just forget how to play football. Like what I saw last year out of him, that looks more like what I would expect him to be if he's protected. But on to other things with the Giants. To recap the season, man, pretty much it was just the offensive shit show. I mean, I think the defense pretty much gathered themselves around week 5, week 6. They pretty much gathered themselves and played pretty well for the most part. They didn't play well every single game, but they were far more consistent than our offense was this year. So we have a lot of work to do on the offensive line, of course. We've been saying that for the last 12, 13 years, which is absolutely ridiculous for a team to have the same weakness for 12 for 13 years. That is unheard of. And it's not like we haven't invested. It's just like guys aren't panning out for one reason or another. It's just kind of sad. As I said, a lot of people probably don't agree with me on this as well, but I like our receivers. I think we have enough there to compete. It's just all the shit up front is bad. We have, inconsistent quarterback play, and we have a bad offensive line. I mean, that's not a good combination if you want productive receivers. Like these guys can't throw the ball to themselves. They can't create time for themselves. They can't throw the ball to themselves. So I hate when people get real critical of our receivers. Like our receivers are okay. They're not the best in the league, but they're more than enough to get the job done. Our receiving core is better than it was last year, and we made the playoffs last year. So what does that tell you? Common sense, right? Um, yeah, man. I just think next year we'll see. We'll see where the roster goes. I think it's gonna be a big overhaul. I think Joe Shane is going to put his stamp on this team in one way or another this year, this offseason. So we have to give him that time, man. We gave Gettleman the time to fuck the roster up, so we have to give Shane the time to fix it. Just my opinion. Brian Dable, I think he had a bad year. Everybody knows I think that. Hopefully he'll be better moving forward because I was just not impressed with Brian Dable this year. It just is what it is. You know. What else? Um Kayvon Thibodeau, great year from him. A lot of people were down on him coming into the year. I got down on him, the first pause. I got down on him the first couple weeks of the season, pause. But he picked it up as the season went. He picked it up. So I can't I can't uh I can't overstate the fact that I have a lot of confidence in Kayvon Thibodeau moving forward. Dexter Lawrence was Dexter Lawrence, still dominant, still Dexter Lawrence getting double teamed. He was just still Dexter Lawrence. Xavier McKinney, very big decision for us to make on him in the offseason. He is a free agent, I believe, and I know he will want a nice payday. So we'll see what Shane does with that. What else we got, man? Hopefully all the other guys on defense are coming back, man, full force. I like Tay Banks. Tay Banks had a good rookie season. We got a lot of shit to look forward to on that defense. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully Wink Martindale's back. I know him and Brian Dable had that little dust up or whatever you want to call it, or disagreement or whatever they had. Hopefully they can work that out when Wink is back, because Wink was our best coach this year. Just being honest. Hopefully Mike Kafka is gone. I mentioned that last week in my post game video. I don't want to see him back in blue ever again. Get him the fuck out. It's pretty much it, man. On to the next season. Hopefully everybody takes a long, hard look in the mirror and comes to the conclusion that they need to be better collectively, everyone from the top to the bottom. Just no excuses. Let's just go. Let's just go, man. Let's just go get better. Let's do the work. Let's put it in the off season and come back stronger next year, man. So that was that. Like, share, subscribe. As always, I am Fly Free CT. This is Fly Free Sports, and I am signing off for the Giants on 2023. Yes, sir.